You're at your desk and you're staring at that email that's been opened for a few minutes now, and you know pretty much what it is that you want to say, and your jaw is already clenched like you're about to take a hit, and it's not even 9 a.m. yet. Nothing dramatic happened, it's just an email, and yet your whole face has already made a decision, your whole body has, before your mind even got a chance to answer. That clench isn't overreacting. It's your body's editor showing up before your words do. Hi, I'm Tracy Malone. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of the Secure Attachment Code podcast. You're sitting in that meeting and people are being asked to speak, and you know that you're going to be asked to speak sooner or later. And there's a round happening at the moment of everyone speaking in turn. And even though you know exactly what you're going to say, you start being unable to hear what other people are doing, and you start going over and over, is it the right thing that you were going to say? You leave the room a bit, your jaw starts to clench. And when it comes to your turn to speak, you're already in a state of stress. Your words don't come out as you had hoped they would. Your mouth's a little bit dry, and you can feel your palms are sweating, and that jaw isn't relaxing and allowing you to speak. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night and you notice you're clenching jaws as well. It is so incredibly common. Most people are either a grinder, they grind their teeth, or they're a clencher. Now, clenching your jaw doesn't even mean that your teeth come together. The teeth can be separate and you can be clenching down really hard in that area. It is the place where all of our unspoken words go. All of the words that we wanted to say, and instead we said something else. All of the anger goes into the jaw, because the angry words, the words we wanted to say to hold those boundaries, where do they go when we're unable to hold that boundary and we feel resentful later that we weren't able to do it? That goes into our jaw. And back to that first moment of that email, my jaw was doing an enormous amount of quiet, constant editing long before I typed a single word. The jaw sits right at the crossroads of speech and social threat, and it's wired into how you manage what's safe to say out loud. Your body isn't actually reading the email itself. It's reading what the email represents. Maybe it's a person who's disappointed you before, a tone that echoes something older, or the risk of being visible and judged, or maybe it's just another thing on your to-do list that is pushing you into overwhelm. Years of choosing your words carefully so nobody gets upset trains the jaw to brace preemptively before there's even been anything to respond to yet. And you can sit and type out a few edits of that email. You can run it through your AI and have the most perfect response possible. But composing a measured response is a mental skill. Releasing the physical braking mechanism is a completely different job the mind can't do on the body's behalf. The mind can't do the job that the body needs it to do in order to unstress and de-stress and release stress from the body. I've worked with clients who have such beautiful delivery these days. They were people who were unable to speak up, and now they're really able to speak up. But at the start, they were speaking differently, but it was really uncomfortable for them because their body was still bracing in the stress response that they had been holding down. So for years, they've been saying yes when they really wanted to say no. They'd been taking on too much, and they chomped their words down and stuck their words down and shoved those words down. When they first started using boundaries, it was still a stress response in their body. Their mouth still became dry when they went to speak. It came out a jumble, not the exact words that they wanted to say. even though they knew what they wanted to say. And it took time in order for them to be able to deliver it beautifully, where the body was able to emulate the calmness that they had in their no thank you response. And in order to do that, one of the things that we need to work with is the fascia. The fascia is the connective tissue, and there's so much tightness in the fascia around our jaw that it shifts everything. I've seen people do fascial maneuvers and change their entire face. It looks like they've had a facelift of some kind. Their entire face changes from doing an enormous amount of work around the jaw and the palate and those neck and shoulders. Because all of that tension that's up here changes our fascia, which changes how our face looks. There is no one single fix that can take you from clenching your jaw to not clenching your jaw, which is why I've created the secure attachment code, and it has 4 pillars. Because we are multifaceted beings, and being able to release all of that tension needs to come from those 4 pillars to have complete congruent success. The first step, as always, and a really doable practice for now, is awareness. Start noticing, scanning your jaw and your tongue and where they are before you send an email reply or before you talk. And simply notice that clenching is happening and it's feedback and information for you rather than an actual flaw. And then what you can do is a repeatable micro release. You can just release that jaw. So when you feel that tension, notice it's there and then just release. You can do it with your mouth closed or your mouth opened. This is about your jaw and your teeth inside. It's just noticing that that jaw can actually move. Take one breath before typing that first word. And as you take that breath, let your exhale be slightly longer than your inhale. That's enough to interrupt the pattern in that moment. It won't undo years of your jaw being trained as your first line of defense. And that's exactly the gap my class Unbrace is actually built for. So if you find yourself clenching your jaw, please know you're not broken. It's just a jaw that's been doing quiet, constant editing for longer than you've noticed. And it's one of the best editors you've got. It's very, very efficient. If you would like to learn more and you would like to start releasing this from a fascial perspective, which is a really great place to start with a fascial maneuver, join me for my class Unbreak. It's going live on Tuesday the 25th of August at 10 a.m. and we're going to do some fascial maneuvers together so that you can get a release, an instant release through your neck and shoulders. And we'll do a little bit of vagus nerve work as well, so you can tone your vagus nerve and reset it in that class too. The beautiful thing about being live is you get to ask questions and interact. So join me for that. You can sign up on my website. It's free, it's easy to find, and replays will be available. As humans, we are so often in our bodies carrying way more than we've ever had the chance to put down. If we put down everything that we picked up, we would be walking with ease and a flow right now. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Secure Attachment Code podcast. I hope to see you in the next episode.